mean, arguably, Carlos Ghosn is one of the most important leaders of the automotive industry as the head of the European Automobile Manufacturing Association. But first and foremost, he is here to show us his new midsize sedan, the Altima. Carlos, thanks so much for joining us. Let me ask here, you're going to fly off to Japan tonight, but you're here in the U.S. You sell 350,000 of these midsize sedans here in this country a year, more than Volkswagen's entire brand sales. Why do you continue to invest in this segment when Americans seem to just want to buy trucks and drive SUVs and crossovers?
Yeah, look, first because the Altima, the new Altima that we are showing, is the most sold car for Nissan in the United States. As you mentioned, 350,000 a year. And this segment used to be the largest segment in the US. Now it's the second largest segment in the US. Yes, compact crossover are taking the lead, but still, it's a very important segment in the US where you need to compete. This is the second most sold car into the segment and growing.
You don't sell any diesels in this country. You will actually come out with a Cummins-powered Titan diesel in December. I'm excited for that. But is this technology too difficult to make perform and still pass EPA emissions testing?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a very specific technology. Well, Nissan, as you mentioned, does not sell any diesel engine on any of the cars. We have electric cars, we have hybrids. Obviously, most of it is gasoline-powered engine, but diesel engine is a technology which is much more widespread, for example, in Europe. We have it, we're developing it in Europe, but not for the United States.
You are the head of the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. You meet, monthly with all the CEOs and leaders of those companies, including Volkswagen. Is this an issue that you think is pervasive? Are car makers across the globe having to cheat in order to pass regulators' testing?
I don't think so. As the head of the association, we are putting a communique, reminding everybody about how much improvements have been made for the last years by all the car industry in order to have better emission, better fuel efficiency, etc. But then we leave it to every single member of the association to make their own statement about, what they are practicing and what kind of, devices they have and what kind of technology they are developing. This is much more an issue for every car manufacturer. But the association obviously want to, as much as possible, reinforce the trust existing between the industry from one side and all the consumer from the other side.
What about for you? I mean, you put together, as Tom said, Nissan Renault in 1999. You're working around the globe, regulators from so many different regions. Yeah. Do you have a statement on your emissions testing or how you deal with such regulators?
As you know, that every country and every region has its own testing, has its own emissions, and car makers have to adapt to this. We have to adapt to this in the most, truthful and transparent way. When we have problems, we usually share them with the regulators. At the same time, technology is evolving a lot. That means a lot of things today are possible, which were not possible a few years ago. What's very important for the industry is to give some kind of visibility about what has to come. That's why, for example, what's going through COP21 that will take place this year, at the end of the year, is very important because everybody's looking, okay, we all need to reduce emission, but give us visibility about what kind of emission we want to reach 15 years down the road, so we can get prepared.
The stock market loves visibility, loves certainty. Mike McKee was just saying Volkswagen is down 20% today. All car makers are getting crushed in Europe. Do they deserve it? Is this a punishment that the entire industry is waiting for?
Look, today there is doubt existing, obviously concentrated on one company, but, in a certain way infiltrated for the other company. I'm sure you will see in the next hours statements made by every car makers, each one stating the situation in his own company. So I'm not so worried about it. I can understand the first reaction in the market should not last.
Let me just finally ask you, your next meeting, I mean, does the car industry have a too big to fail issue? Are you going to be telling these leaders you need to get your companies in order?
Well, I think most of the companies are in order. I think every company has a challenge, and we try to face the challenge in the most transparent, truthful way possible. At the same time, look, it's a moving target because the technology is evolving all the time.
Okay.
And it's a competitive game also.